Hey there, Fry the Chef here. I'm going to give you a real quick lesson on how to choose a chef's knife, the knife you use almost all the time. Paring knife would be number 2. Chef knives range from the low end, inexpensive, to the high end, super expensive. These are Japanese, these are German and French, and these are the Cuisinarts and the Chicago cutlery style. So, first thing you need to know when you're buying a chef's knife is they're expensive. If you get it as part of a set, the set's going to be a couple $100. If you get a good set, like a Wusthof set, that's going to be about $400. This is the most expensive knife I had purchased for quite a while. I've had it for 20 years. It's a Wusthof. It's a Grand Prix. It has a non-slip handle. It's German. It's solid. You can do anything with it. You don't have to be afraid to cut next to bones. It's wonderful. So what makes that knife different than these lower end knives and these Japanese knives? The thing to look for when you're buying a chef knife is the handle. As you note, on these, the handle all comes down and has a little hook end. That's the European standard. In the Japanese, there's that style, or there's the unique styles that are the global, and this one is a katana. I also have a couple examples of a shun that has this D-shaped handle, and this is a Miyabi, which has the French style handle. Why is the handle important? That's how you're grabbing the knife. This is a Sabatier French. This is quite rare. It was discovered after World War II. It was buttoned up in a warehouse, bricked away. They discovered it. It's made of carbon steel. It has a French handle, very thin, very long, 14 inches, and this is the proper way to hold it. So it's very comfortable. So you can use this all day long, no fatigue in the hand. Chances are you're not going to be cooking that much. The Wusthof, by contrast, is super heavy, but it also feels perfect. It's balanced. The knife is balanced right there by the handle, so it feels perfect. This is a stamped blade. It's a Victorinox. And Victorinox is from Switzerland. They make the Swiss Army knife. These are the knives of professional butchers, chefs. Cooks Illustrated recommends this knife. Why? Because it's perfectly balanced like these two. Has that great handle, and it's also non-slip. The knife holds its edge. We'll talk about edges in a second here. The handles in the Japanese are bizarre. This is filled with sand, and it actually is well balanced. Feels great. Feels like it should be in your hand, and that's why I love it. That's the global. This is a Tojiro DP. This also has the French style handle, also perfectly balanced. Now the difference is, in the Japanese versus the European, these are razor sharp. They have a super hard carbon steel inside, and they're coated on the outside, with the exception of the globals. You can see the patterns on this Calphalon katana. It has a series of ridges going through the handle, and those are the soft stainless steel covering the hard carbon steel. The carbon steel will rust and get a discoloration. That's from acid, from onions, from all sorts of things. The French don't bother to clad with the stainless steel. Consequently, this knife is going to look ugly. However, it is razor sharp and super thin and 14 inches long, so I can cut through a turkey breast. I can do sushi with this knife. It's insanely sharp and wonderful to use. On the lower end, the stuff that you'll see at Marshall's that's on sale for 20 bucks or so forth, there's Cuisinart and there's Calphalon. These are good knives. The handles are solid, it's balanced. It's just that the steel isn't as high quality as the Wusthof, and definitely not as the Japanese. So what does that mean? Steel is everything when it comes to sharpening. Steel has edge retention, and as it gets better and better in edge retention, it gets brittle. And if you look at the Tojiro, you can't see it from here, but I can see it here. I have a nick here, a big chunk missing there, a nick there. That's from hitting grains of salt on the cutting board. These are so sensitive, and they're so precise that you really can only slice meat with no bones in it. Everything has to be a vegetable, and that sort of limits you. Whereas these are the King Kongs of chef knives, and they'll do anything you want. And then there are hybrids, like the Miyabi and the, not so much the Shun. But these are a combination, and they're a softer steel so they can take a punishment. So, if I were to pick one knife that I would use every day out of all these that I own, I would say it's going to be this one, the one I first purchased, the Wusthof. Mainly because it feels excellent, it's nice and long, it holds an edge a long time, and I really go to it quite frequently. I'll use the others for different purposes. I love the Global. It reminds me of Terminator 2, where the guy has the arm that comes out that's solid steel, and it feels like an extension of your hand. It's a great knife, but you have to love the handle. When it comes to the lower end, the Victorinox is only $23 on Amazon, and if you don't have a lot of money, this would be the one to buy. Like I said, professional butchers, chefs, they use these knives because they're not expensive, they hold an edge a long time, they're lightweight, they're thin like the Japanese, but they're sturdy like the Wusthof. So that's chef knives in a nutshell. You want to go look at Amazon.com and go to a wish list and just put down the model you like. You need to go to a store like Sur La Table and hold it in your hand and say, does this feel good? Because if you spend this kind of money, that's hundreds of dollars, you want to get something that's going to be wonderful when you pick it up. And all of these do feel that way for me. So I hope that helps you. Chef knife, single most important knife in your kitchen. And I'll show you how to look for them on Amazon and get a good discount. I'm Fry the Chef. Happy cooking.